Hi everybody, it's Doreen, or Do 4x4, and I'm back today with a gift that I made for my dear friend who is also my crafting buddy. She goes with me when I go to a lot of the craft sales, and she's also gone with me when to the CHA super shows. So I wanted to make something for her birthday, because lots of times when we're out shopping, she'll say to me, I don't know if I have this already, or did I buy this already? You'd remember, because I don't remember everything I buy. So I wanted to make her something to help her get a little organized on all the crafting supplies that she has. And it's not something that she can carry in her purse, but it's just to help her get organized at home. And then we'll work on getting her something to take with her when we go craft shopping. So what I've made her is, I'm calling it a craft journal or smash book or art book. It has so many different names. And I got this idea from some other YouTubers that were making these. I think Yola Bean was the first one that I saw. And her channel, as I said, is Yola Bean. But I think she calls herself Yoli. And so what I've done is I've taken a regular composition notebook and covered it with some papers and went ahead and decorated for her. So as you can see on the front, I have her name, which is Elizabeth, and then I've taken some of the bottle caps and spelled out the word craft, and then I have a little closure that I've made for her so that she can keep this closed or stand it up if she wants, like so everything doesn't fall out, or as it gets bigger and bigger, she'll be able to keep it closed. And then I've just taken that, and then I've also spelled out the word journal. And then I've gone ahead and put a butterfly that I got at Michael's, and then I've taken some of my molds. I had a daisy and a little mum, and I used some hot glue and filled up the mold, and then once it was set, I colored it in using some of my pearlescent powders. And then on the front here, I've got some lace trim that I added, and then I took and used some of the antique gold rub and buff to color in the black from the composition notebooks. So I'm going to go ahead and go through the book, and I'm not going to say what size I cut everything, but I will say what cartridge I got everything from. So the first thing on the front, the Elizabeth and the journal, I cut from the Child's Year cartridge. And then the Elizabeth I picked up, it's actually a keychain ring, and I just added it on to the book. And what I've done also is I've gone ahead and added a few charms. And the way I made the closure belt, I got this idea from Kathy from Paper Phenomenon. Is her blog channel, or her blog. Her actual channel is Kathy Orta, or it may be Kathy Files. I always forget. I think it's Kathy Files, or it might be Kathy Order. I'll put the link up in the description or somewhere in the video on how you can make this strap yourself. And this is actually using duct tape. And the duct tape is this color on this side, and I took some rub and buff and ran it across the front. So, and on here I have a few little charms, like I have a tape roller, and then a little composition notebook, and then a little paint set, and then a pair of scissors that I cut out using my favorite things die cut, and then I've added a pen. So now let's go ahead and go over what's inside the book. So now, as I said, I wanted to give her something that she can list all the things that she has. So on my first page, what I've done is I've just gone ahead and I put an envelope here where I've added some more of these tabs. And these tabs are from the Tim Holtz on the edge die. So I just gave her some extra ones just in case she wanted to add some more in the pages. And I put a tag in here. And the tag just says, life's truest happiness is found in the friendship we make along the way. And these little swirls are actually from the Flower Shop cartridge. These are what I had left over after I cut out this flower, which is from the Flower Shop cartridge. And I learned how to put this flower together by watching Margaret's Crafts. She has a YouTube video where she showed how to put this together, and I'll put the link to that in this video. So I'm just going to add this back in here, and I cut this out using manila cardstock and then just took some of the Stampin' Up! Diamond Dust glitter and put that on top. And I also went around and inked the edges. So now for the actual wording on this page, I decided to give her a page that's called Cards and Sketches. And the cards and the sketches is from the Country Life cartridge. And then this money here, or this play money, I got when I picked up the little tape composition notebook and the paint at one of my party supply stores. And I just took it and went ahead and distressed it because it was in white, and I distressed it using my Tim Holtz Distress ink. And if you're interested in the colors that I use for everything, then you can send me an email, or I put it in the comments and I'll tell you what colors that I use to distress each one of the pages. So now I wanted to give her some samples of some cards and sketches. So what I did actually is I went ahead and created this little pocket, and in this pocket I've given her the 12 months of the year where she can go ahead and put the birthdays or anniversaries. I got it labeled birthdays, but she can also put anniversaries in here too for people that she needs to make cards for. So it's going through all the months of the year, and I kind of stuck that inside this little pocket right here. And I don't remember where I got the pocket from, but if I remember and someone wants to know, I can look and let you know what that was. Now, on this page right here, what I've done is I've given her the template for the One Sheet Wonder. And this is the template for starting off with an 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock. And it ends up that you can make 10 cards out of that one sheet of cardstock. And it goes through and explains to you how you make the cards. I did a video on this making the One Sheet Wonder cards for my sister-in-law to give her some ideas for Christmas cards. And I'll add that link to how I did that in this video. But this is just the sample of how to do it for an 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock. And then the next page I've added just some actual sketches that she can use to make some cards. And then I've given her some blank pages to go ahead and add any more sketches that she might want to add in here, or any pictures of cards that she might want to add. So now, Cricut cartridges. She and I both have a lot of Cricut cartridges. Quite a few, as a matter of fact. And trying to remember which one we already have sometimes become difficult for her. So what I've done is I've given her a page for the Cricut cards. And I cut this Cricut cards out of the Planting School book. And the little Cricut guy is from the Potpourri Basket Cricut cartridge. And I got that cartridge when I purchased my Cricut Expression. And then once again, I've added some money down here because we do spend a lot of money on our crafting supplies. So then I've left a blank page for her to add her cartridges. And then I went ahead and added another page, another few pages, and I got this from joyslife.com, I believe is the webpage I got it from. And she's listed all the cartridges that are out there up to date as of, I believe, August 5th. So I've given her where she can just check off ones that she has. And then I left these 2 pages blank so she can add the most recent ones as they come in or as she buys them. And then once again, I had these swirls left over from when I was making the flower on the front. So I went ahead and added those. I figured, why throw it away? As I said before, always don't throw away your scraps because you could always find a use for them. So let's move on to the next page that I did for her. And some of the pages I went ahead and inked them using my Stampin' Up! Inks and some of my Tim Holtz Distress inks. And I left some blank for her. If she wanted to go ahead and ink the pages, she could, or she could leave them blank. So now, our next page is dies. This is something else that we both have a lot of, because there's lots of times when we can't find something on the Cricut cartridges, but we can find it in a die. So I've gone ahead and cut out this die, which is the Fleur de Lis by Spellbinders. And these flowers are some dies that I picked up on my CHA haul. And then I've added a little daisy flower here. And this flower is from the My Favorite Things die. And the word dies is from the Lyrical Letters cartridge. And the leaves also are from the My Favorite Thing cartridge. And then once again, I've added some money. So, and I left those pages blank for her to put in what she wants. So, another thing that we both have a lot of is embossing folders. And what I find funny about this is I have quite a few embossing folders, but I seem to be reaching for the same 2 to 3 embossing folders. The swirl, the Swiss dots, and my medium dots or my large dots. I also will reach, as I did on this one, for the Argyle. But I'm going to have to go ahead and eventually use all these dies that I have. Just like I tell her, she's going to have to use them too. So I've gone ahead and wrote out embossing folders. And that is from the Storybook cartridge. And as I said before, it's embossed with the Argyle embossing folder. And then I've added some money. And then I've gone ahead and created one of those pocket file folders. And I've embossed with my Cuttlebug, I believe it's Best Friends. I don't know if the camera will pick that up. But it's a bouquet of flowers. So, and then on the next page, what I've done for her is, when we were at the CHA show and we were buying some of the dies, the demonstrator was giving us the sandwich stack for the Cuttlebug, the Big Shot, and the Vagabond. And I was writing them all down. Since I have all 3, but I mostly use my Big Shot and the Vagabond. Now my girlfriend, she only has the Cuttlebug. So I was writing them down for her, but then I found on the web this Cuttlebug sandwich stack rules, and it gives for the different dies. So I thought this would be helpful for her, that she can go in when she's using her dies, she can figure out how to sandwich her stacks. And then I left the pages for her to go ahead and put in what she wants for her dies. So let's move on. The next page I have in here is ink, pads, and pens. And I've taken some of my big pens and just went ahead and made a bird and a flower. And the ink pads and pens was coming from the Alphalicious cartridge. And by the way, the other thing that I did for each one of the pages that I covered, I also went over them with Mod Podge, the glossy, and I did the hard coat as well, just so I can make the page more sturdier so when she's going through the book, the pages don't tear up or tear out. So I've also given her a sheet of the Distress Inks by Tim Holtz that I found on the web. And this I've given her so that she can go ahead and she can check off or take and color in each one of these colors as she buys her Distress Inks. So the other thing that I've done is I've taken ribbon on each one of the tabs just to strengthen the pages in between here to make the book more sturdy. So let's move on to our next tab. The next tab I have here is laces, ribbons, and trims. And I think I have a lot more laces and trims and ribbons than she does, but I know she does have some. So I wanted to give her something so that she can go ahead and add some of her lace trims and ribbons, the names of them, samples of them, and so forth. So up here I have some lace that I took that was white, and I took it and I used my Copic markers and the Copic airbrush system to color in the ribbon to match the colors in the paper. I did end up buying a compressor to use with my Copic air system, because what I did for all my letters was I cut them out in either white or off-white cardstock, and then I went ahead and used the Copic markers to color them the colors that I wanted to match the pages. So I really like the idea that I got from Margaret's Crafts on using the Copic airbrush system, and I was able to get me a compressor for a really cheap price, so I'm going to be using that quite a bit. So this trim was also in white, and I used the Copic airbrush system again and colored it in the color that I wanted. So now on my next page, I've taken just a lace doily and I used the Copic markers again and airbrushed the two lace doilies, and then I added the money. And then I've been dying to use my Tim Holtz sewing room die, so I wanted to add that because it made me think of laces and trims. So I went ahead and cut it out using some grunge paper, and I made the roses out of grunge paper as well. And these are from the My Favorite Things die cut, and the paper is from the other some scraps I had left over from this page. And then I went ahead and once again used my Copic markers to airbrush in the colors for the dress form, the flowers, as well as the button and the thread. And this thread itself, let's see if I can bring that in. This thread itself is some of that a baker's twine that I got on an Etsy site. And then I've colored in some more pages. So now we're going to move on to something else that I know she has a lot of, and that's punches. She has quite a few of them. So I've given her a page labeled punches, and the punches is from the, let's see, Base Camp cartridge. And I've added a little bling in each one of the tabs of the letters. And then I took and punched out the Martha Stewart butterfly punch. And then my flowers here are made from the scallop punch. And I went ahead and made the flowers. Now I do have a tutorial on how I did this. And what I did with mine was I made rings with the flowers. But you can also just make flowers, as I said before in the video that I made, making them into rings. And I'll also put a link to that in this video. And then down here at the bottom, I added another Martha Stewart punch. And then I colored in some of the pages once again. So now we can move on to stamps. Elizabeth has lots and lots of stamps, just like me. So I gave her a page called Stamps, and this is from the printing press cartridge. And my doily is from My Favorite Things. It's one of the lace doilies. And what I've stamped in the middle is so many crafts, so little time. And that is definitely true. And then I've added the money down here. And as I said before, this was cut in white cardstock. And then I airbrushed it with my Cricut markers. And then on this page, I've added some more stamps. And this is a TPC Studio stamp set. It says, a cut above, I craft, therefore I am, and then glue. And you've got a tape measure or a ruler, some scissors, an X-Acto knife, and a little envelope. And then I just threw this little envelope in there because I like this envelope from Stampin' Up! And a couple of butterflies. So now my next tab is videos and tutorials. She does, like I do, watch a lot of YouTube videos and Ustream classes to get ideas. So I've gone ahead and made her a section to write down some of the videos that she's watched that she likes, as well as I've given her a look at all of the videos that I have created since I started creating the videos on YouTube up to this date, where she can go ahead and add more videos if she wants. And then my last page is tags. This is something that is new for her, and it's actually new for me as well. And we did get together one Saturday and make a couple of tags, and I know she's been wanting to get together and make some more. It's just I haven't had time, but I've got some days coming that I'll be on vacation, so hopefully I'll be able to get together with her so we can do some scrapping, booking, and tag making together. So what I've done with this page is I took one of those bags, and I'm sure everybody's seen these before. These are the antique bags. I got these from Jewels. And I folded it back and under to make like a little pocket so I could include some tags. And these tags are from by K & Company. And I've gone ahead and stamped something on the bottom of each one. This one says Discover. This one says Rest a Minute. And it's got a little chair. And then the last one says, it's a typewriter, and it says Write Your Own Story. And I've added a brat in the center. And that's just to go stick down inside there. And I've added some trim on the bottom. And then this flower here I crocheted from a tutorial I found on YouTube. And I've added one of those Michael dollar spot butterflies. And then I've included a tag in the inside of the bag, and it just says Cherish Moments. And once again, I took a template that I had of some butterflies, and I airbrushed it, and this is what it came out like. And then I took another of the flowers from the Flower Shop cartridge and made a little rosebud. And this tag is a Stampin' Up! Tag. Now the word tags was cut out from another one of my Cricut cartridges, and this is also the printing press. So then on the last page of the back of the book, I've just written a little note to her to help tell her that I hope this journal will help her get organized and to keep track of her crafting supplies. So I also tell her that she has no excuse now. So the next time we're out craft shopping together, I shouldn't hear her ask me, do I have this already? Or I can't remember if I bought this already. And then I've just put created just for you by and my little butterfly and my name. And the back page, I've once again taken some scrap paper that I had and I covered it with Mod Podge glossy to make it sturdy. So that's it. This is my journal or craft journal that I've made for my dear friend Elizabeth. So now, Elizabeth, you have no excuse. You have something to put everything that you've been buying in this book. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye.